Now, folks, Chief Meteorologist Nick Lilly here, taking a look at your tropical update for August 21st, 2020, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling. Early morning look at this. So Laura and Marco still on the deck, waiting for them to show up. Nana back in behind it. Enhanced infrared does show that Tropical Depression 13 not looking quite as robust as it did before. Same goes with 14. I will say that 13 probably looks a little healthier than 14. As we head through the next couple of days, this is actually slated to become a tropical storm as we head through the next 24 hours, and then eventually a Category 1 hurricane as it enters the Gulf of Mexico. Current wind at 35 miles an hour, gusting to 45. Moving off to the west-northwest at 22 miles an hour. Tropical Depression 14 eventually is going to make the turn off to the northwest, currently moving west-northwest at 14, with wind at 35, gusting to 45. This is actually pegged to be a Category 1 hurricane before it makes landfall across the Yucatan. It's going to weaken a little bit as it moves across land and then re-strengthen again, according to the latest forecast here, to a Category 1 storm as it moves a little bit closer to the Gulf. Notice, though, that both of these end up in the Gulf of Mexico, and I want to kind of slide up and zoom in here to the Gulf Coast to kind of highlight that from basically, Corpus Christi all the way around to, just shy of New Orleans, and then from about, Biloxi, Mississippi, all the way down to Miami and back north toward, Cape Canaveral. I mean, we're talking about a very large area right now in the Gulf of Mexico that is kind of under the gun, so to speak, with the forecast cones. In the cone, a lot of places. That does include, here in South Mississippi, our forecast area. That's not it either. There's a 20 to 40% chance for this next one. Actually, I think 20 to 50% chance now of development for this one coming off the coast of Africa as we head through the next 2 to 5 days. Right now, it does look like on water vapor, there is still a little bit in the way. We've got a little bit of action here and a fair amount of dry air, while 14, I should say, is actually going to move up and toward a little bit of troughing action. Looks like we maybe have a little bit of a ridge on the back side of this, but some troughing action that's happening into the Gulf of Mexico right now. We're going to have to keep tabs on how all of this interacts as we head through the next 48 hours, because a lot of this is going to dictate what we see down the street. The other thing that's going to dictate what we see down the street is just how strong these things get and how fast they do so. Here we go through Sunday at 6 o'clock, and then by Tuesday at about 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. The spread on here is pretty wide, and the reason that the spread is so wide is due to the strengthening of 14. I think the stronger it gets, you'll have more of a northerly, a northeasterly kick. The weaker it is, the more westerly it'll go. Notice that most of these kind of split the difference and take it kind of toward Houston. We'll have to monitor the next 24 hours carefully, but even beyond that, really what's going to tell the story is how well it survives crossing over the Yucatan through Sunday and into Monday. As we head out a little further, Saturday, Sunday, and into Monday and Tuesday, a lot of these are making kind of a beeline toward the tip of Florida and then the Florida panhandle, parts of Alabama, and perhaps even Mississippi. This one, the strength isn't going to matter as much in terms of the direction this is going to take, because this one is actually being influenced by a ridge of high pressure that's out here that's kind of swinging things around, and the question becomes how much does it want to pull it to the north and when. And so far, a lot of the models, as you can see here, says, well, not really a whole mess of trying to pull it that far to the north. The GFS, the latest from the GFS, showing by Sunday and into Monday and Tuesday that we'll have two tropical systems into the Gulf of Mexico, one toward Houston and one toward the Florida Panhandle, before those clear out. Back in behind it, the one that's coming off the coast of Africa right now, it doesn't really do much with that one. The European, on the other hand, by the time we get towards Sunday and again toward Monday and Tuesday, same thing, slightly different placement. This one has 14 close to Houston also, but it has 13 a little more beat up and closer to Florida. And then it actually has another system that develops back in behind those two that tries to make a run at the southern tip of Florida. And then behind that, the wave that was coming off of Africa it doesn't really turn out into much of anything. So there's a look at the early morning look at your tropical update, brought to you by the folks over there at Pine Belt Gutters and Remodeling.